Well, Naledi, a lot of anticipation and expectation from the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana. Of course, he's working under very difficult conditions, of course, with the country plunged into load shedding on a daily basis. So he needs to give us an assurance in terms of how government is going to assist Eskom to actually become a better entity that will be able to give us energy on a reliable basis. I'm going to bring into this conversation Zuko Godlimpi from the ANC's Economic Transformation Desk. Mr. Godlimpi, thank you so much for your time. What are the ANC's marching orders to the Finance Minister?
Thank you very much, Bulelani. Good morning to the SABC and the listeners at home. Our position is the ANC, as you are saying, we are under a very difficult economic environment. With load shedding, it makes our position much more precarious. So one of the major things that we're concerned about is the government action plan to curb load shedding, which the President announced, and therefore we expect the Minister of Finance to pretty much give us a sense of how that is going to be financed. So that is the most important thing now. How do we deal with the Eskom debt? How do we improve our fiscal allocations to Eskom in order to make sure that we recalibrate the coal-fired power stations, as the President has explained, that is the most immediate action plan for us to get out of load shedding.
So the government intends to take over a portion of the debt of Eskom as the ANC. Do you support that direction?
We support any and all fiscal maneuvers that can help Eskom stabilize its balance sheet, because it's a twofold problem. Eskom has to have the room to finance its infrastructure maintenance program, but Eskom still has to have the ability to raise capital in the capital markets when it needs to, and it cannot do that with a huge debt on its balance sheet. So we definitely do support any measure that can help us to stabilize the Eskom's balance sheet and reduce its debt levels.
One of the concerns from opposition parties is about the bloated cabinet as well as the high wage bill of the state, and the President announcing that he intends to appoint a Minister of Electricity. Wouldn't that make it even worse, that the government is creating a structure over another structure, which will probably lead to bureaucracy?
Two problems with that argument. There is a tendency to conflate the concept of a bloated public sector with a bloated cabinet. Those are two different things. I think the DA has got to decide which argument it is mounting. But on the one about the Minister of Electricity, the President was quite clear that this is a transitional measure. If you may recall, it's not for the first time in South Africa that we have a minister without portfolio, for instance. We've had cabinets where there were ministers without portfolio, but would be given specific tasks by the President to deal with. The President says, we have a transitional mechanism of a cabinet-level official who must have the capacity to coordinate government efforts to deal with load shedding. So there is no fear that this would lead to a growth in the size of government. It's a single cabinet-level appointment whose function is to coordinate government efforts to end load shedding in the context of the national state of disaster. So,
but of course, I mean, a government department needs to have a DG, DDGs and all of those things. It will create an additional cost to the state.
There is a government department, it's called the Presidency. And this is a ministerial appointment in the Presidency, not the establishment of a new department altogether. The Presidency is a department. It's headed by the President, and there's a minister there of the Presidency. The President is adding just another one. As I was saying, historically, the Presidency has had ministers without portfolio who didn't have departments. They were only cabinet-level appointments who were assisting the President in the coordination of government work, and this is nothing new. So it's not different.
All right, now the other issue that is burning in the country, the cost of living is rising at an exponential rate. As the ANC, how would you expect the Finance Minister to alleviate those people who are suffering as South Africans?
Two issues. Load shedding on its own, because of its destabilizing effects on economic activities, is contributing to the cost of living. You know, with the shrinkage at the level of productivity, the availability of goods in the market tends to go down, and that triggers, price escalation. So that's one part. If we deal with load shedding, we're almost 2 minutes away from stabilizing the cost of living. But on the other hand, we expect, of course, as alluded to by the President, the Finance Minister, to give us a way out of how we cushion small to medium enterprises and households, and on how to better navigate the problems of load shedding. So we are eagerly awaiting to hear what the Minister will be giving us in that regard.
Would you support tax cuts?
Tax cuts or tax incentives, two different things. If the Minister were to say We are providing tax incentives to small to medium enterprises so that they could stabilize their operations, have some money to sustain jobs. We will be very much happy with that, because that will help us to stabilize the jobs that are available in the market.
Zuko Godlimpi, thank you so much for your time. He is from the Economic Transformation Desk of the ANC, of course, giving us the party's marching orders to the Finance Minister when he delivers the budget speech this afternoon. On that note, Naledi will cross back to you in studio.